What if I told you that some of Hollywood's biggest action stars, guys you've seen saving the day on screen, are some of the nastiest jerks off screen? Behind the tough guy personas, explosive fight scenes, and epic chases, these action heroes are hiding something far darker. From cruel behavior on set to shocking outbursts off camera, these stars left their mark not just with their on-screen heroics, but with their legendary bad attitudes. Here are 15 of the worst jerks in action movie history. Stars whose behavior might make you rethink their heroic roles forever. Number 15. Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal rose to fame in the late 1980s and 1990s with martial arts action films like Above the Law and Under Siege. His on-screen persona projected calm control and mastery, but reports from behind the scenes tell a different story. Multiple actresses, including Jenny McCarthy and Portia de Rossi, have accused him of sexual harassment during auditions. The allegations describe inappropriate behavior and uncomfortable situations during what should have been professional meetings. On film sets, his reputation was equally troubling. Actor John Leguizamo has spoken publicly about an incident where Seagal allegedly physically assaulted him during the filming of Executive Decision, slamming him against a wall. Crew members from various productions have described his demanding behavior and inflated ego. Seagal also developed a reputation for exaggerating his martial arts credentials and connections to secret government operations, further damaging his credibility in Hollywood circles. Number 14. Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer's talent was undeniable in films like Top Gun and The Doors, but his difficult reputation followed him throughout his career. His stint as Batman in Batman Forever became infamous for behind-the-scenes tensions. Director Joel Schumacher publicly called Kilmer childish and impossible, describing how the actor refused to speak to him for weeks during production. Legendary director John Frankenheimer was equally blunt, stating he would never work with Kilmer again after directing him in The Island of Dr. Moreau. Co-stars often reported similar experiences. Kilmer would reportedly refuse to leave his trailer, demand script changes at the last minute, and engage in power struggles with directors. Marlon Brando allegedly became so frustrated with Kilmer during filming that he told him, "Your problem is you confuse the size of your talent with the size of your paycheck." These difficulties eventually impacted Kilmer's career, with many filmmakers choosing to avoid the drama despite his obvious acting abilities. Number 13. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes became an action icon through the Blade trilogy and films like Passenger 57, but his behavior on set often overshadowed his performances. During the production of Blade Trinity, things reached a breaking point. Director David Goyer revealed that Snipes would only communicate through post-it notes signed "From Blade" and refused direct interaction with him or other cast members. Co-star Patton Oswalt shared stories of Snipes attempting to strangle Goyer and remaining in character at all times, creating a tense atmosphere for everyone involved. Snipes also allegedly spent most days smoking marijuana in his trailer, emerging only for close-up shots while his stand-in handled wider scenes. His tax troubles added another dimension to his problematic reputation. Snipes was eventually sentenced to 3 years in prison for tax evasion after failing to file returns for several years. The combination of on-set difficulties and legal troubles significantly damaged his standing in Hollywood for years. Number 12. Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones has delivered memorable performances in films like The Fugitive and Men in Black, but his gruff demeanor extends beyond his characters. Jones has developed a reputation for being notoriously difficult during press interviews, often giving terse one-word answers or appearing visibly annoyed by questions. His co-star Jim Carrey in Batman Forever experienced this firsthand. Carrey recounted a restaurant encounter where Jones told him "I cannot sanction your buffoonery," making it clear he disliked working with the comedic actor. On film sets, Jones is known as a perfectionist who can be harsh with crew members and fellow actors if they don't meet his standards. While some defend his approach as professional dedication, others see it as unnecessarily cold and intimidating. Despite these interpersonal challenges, directors continue to work with him because of his undeniable talent, though many crew members have shared stories of walking on eggshells around the Oscar-winning actor. Number 11. Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris built his career on martial arts expertise and a stoic screen presence in films like Missing in Action and the long-running TV series Walker, Texas Ranger. Unlike some action stars, Norris isn't widely reported as being troublesome on set. However, those who have worked with him note his intense perfectionism, particularly regarding fight choreography. Norris would reportedly demand numerous takes until martial arts sequences met his exacting standards, sometimes creating tension with directors who wanted to move on. His competitive nature, formed during his championship karate days, occasionally surfaced when working with other martial artists. Some co-stars found his strict, military-like approach to filming challenging, particularly his insistence on punctuality and discipline from everyone around him. In later years, Norris became more controversial for his outspoken political and religious views, which sometimes alienated fans and industry colleagues who disagreed with his positions. These strong opinions occasionally created uncomfortable situations during promotional events. Number 10. Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock revolutionized the thriller genre with classics like Psycho and Rear Window, but his treatment of actresses revealed a disturbing pattern. His relationship with Tippi Hedren during the filming of The Birds and Marnie stands as the most troubling example. Hedren later revealed that Hitchcock made unwanted sexual advances toward her, and when rejected, subjected her to psychological torture on set. During the filming of the famous attic scene in The Birds, Hitchcock used real birds instead of the promised mechanical ones, subjecting Hedren to 5 days of having live birds thrown at her face, causing physical and emotional trauma. His controlling behavior extended to other actresses as well. He micromanaged their appearance, clothing, and even their personal lives in some cases. Hitchcock would reportedly ignore actresses who refused his advances, speaking to them only through third parties. While his artistic genius is undeniable, his abusive treatment of women under his power reveals a dark side to the legendary director that the industry largely overlooked for decades. Number 9. Gene Kelly. Gene Kelly charmed audiences in classics like Singin' in the Rain and An American in Paris. But behind that winning smile was a demanding perfectionist. Kelly's approach to dance rehearsals was notoriously grueling. He would force dancers to repeat sequences for hours, often reducing female dancers to tears. Debbie Reynolds, his co-star in Singin' in the Rain, recalled bleeding feet from exhausting dance rehearsals, and Kelly showing little sympathy for her struggles as a novice dancer. Donald O'Connor, another co-star, became so exhausted performing the physically demanding Make 'em Laugh number that he had to be hospitalized. Kelly was known to berate crew members who failed to meet his exacting standards, and would sometimes demonstrate open favoritism on set, creating a tense atmosphere. While his perfectionism produced spectacular results on screen, it came at a cost to those working with him. Many dancers reported feeling both inspired by his talent and traumatized by his methods, creating a complicated legacy for the song and dance man. Number 8. Wallace Beery. Wallace Beery was a major star in early Hollywood, appearing in over 250 films, but his off-screen behavior made him one of the most disliked figures in the industry. Beery rarely bothered to learn his lines, instead reading them off blackboards placed around the set or from notes hidden in his pockets. This habit frustrated directors and fellow actors who had prepared properly. He was known for stealing scenes by deliberately upstaging co-stars, particularly child actors. Jackie Cooper, who worked with Beery in The Champ, later revealed that Beery would pinch him hard before emotional scenes to make him cry on cue. Studio crews dreaded working with Beery due to his frequent tantrums and verbal abuse. He developed a reputation for being miserly despite his wealth, often refusing to pay for meals or tips. Louis B. Mayer reportedly called Beery the most hated man in Hollywood. Even during his greatest fame, colleagues avoided socializing with him whenever possible, finding his company intolerable. Number 7. Rudolph Valentino. Rudolph Valentino became cinema's first great male sex symbol in silent films like The Sheik and Blood and Sand. But his rapid rise to fame revealed character flaws. Valentino had a volatile temper that erupted when he felt disrespected by studios or reporters. He engaged in several public feuds, most famously challenging a Chicago Tribune journalist to a boxing match after being criticized as having a feminine influence on American men. On set, Valentino could be demanding and temperamental, insisting on script approvals and special treatment that annoyed directors and producers. His personal life generated constant scandals, including a bigamy charge when he married his second wife before his divorce from his first was finalized. Valentino developed expensive tastes that led to financial troubles, creating tension with studio executives who had to bail him out. His insecurity about his image led to confrontational behavior with reporters who questioned his masculinity. While beloved by fans, many industry insiders found working with the temperamental star challenging before his untimely death at age 31. Number 6. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn swashbuckled his way to stardom in films like Captain Blood and The Adventures of Robin Hood, but his off-screen exploits were far less heroic. Flynn's womanizing was legendary even by Hollywood standards. He faced serious legal troubles in 1942 when charged with statutory rape of 2 teenage girls, and though acquitted, the scandal permanently tarnished his reputation. On film sets, Flynn's alcoholism creates constant problems. He would often arrive drunk or hungover, forcing costly production delays. Directors reported that by afternoon, he could barely remember his lines. Flynn's tendency to pick fights extended beyond the screen. He engaged in numerous bar brawls and public altercations. His autobiography, My Wicked, Wicked Ways, confirmed many rumors about his bad behavior. Flynn treated younger actresses particularly poorly, using his power to pressure them into uncomfortable situations. His friendship with notorious womanizer John Barrymore only reinforced his problematic attitudes toward women. While audiences loved his roguish charm, those who worked with him often experienced a darker, more selfish version of the screen idol. Number 5. John Wayne. John Wayne became an American icon through westerns like The Searchers and war films like The Green Berets. But his personal views created conflicts throughout his career. Wayne's politics were extremely conservative, even for his era. He was a vocal supporter of the House Un-American Activities Committee during the McCarthy era, contributing to the blacklisting of fellow actors and filmmakers with different political views. Wayne's comments about race were particularly problematic. In a 1971 Playboy interview, he made statements supporting white supremacy and dismissing the concerns of Black Americans that shocked even many of his supporters. Native American actors who worked with Wayne noted his dismissive attitude toward their concerns about stereotypical portrayals in his films. On set, Wayne could be intimidating to those who disagreed with him politically, creating uncomfortable working environments. He reportedly refused to work with certain actors based on their liberal politics. While many fans separated the man from his screen persona, others in Hollywood found his confrontational approach and inflexible worldview difficult to reconcile with his status as an American hero. Number 4. Lee Marvin. Lee Marvin brought authentic toughness to films like The Dirty Dozen and Point Blank, drawing on his experiences as a Marine in World War II. His off-screen behavior, however, often reflected his hard-drinking, rough-edged character. Marvin's alcoholism was legendary in Hollywood. He would frequently arrive on set hungover or still intoxicated from the previous night's drinking. Directors learned to schedule important scenes in the morning before his drinking began in earnest. His temper could flare unpredictably, particularly when intoxicated, leading to confrontations with crew members and fellow actors. Marvin was known for crude behavior toward women on set, making inappropriate comments that would be considered sexual harassment by today's standards. During the filming of Paint Your Wagon, his drinking contests with co-star Clint Eastwood became so extreme that production schedules had to be adjusted. While some colleagues viewed his behavior as part of his authentic, no-nonsense personality, others found his unprofessional conduct and sometimes mean-spirited comments difficult to tolerate, particularly on long, challenging shoots. Number 3. Charles Bronson. Charles Bronson became a global action star through films like Death Wish and The Magnificent Seven, but his taciturn nature extended beyond his characters. On film sets, Bronson was notoriously uncommunicative, often limiting his interaction with directors and fellow actors to essential conversations only. This created a chilly atmosphere that many colleagues found difficult. Directors reported frustration with Bronson's refusal to discuss character motivations or emotional nuances, as he preferred to keep his process entirely private. He developed a reputation for being judgmental of other actors' methods, particularly those he considered pretentious. Bronson could be especially harsh with journalists, giving notoriously difficult interviews where he would respond with one-word answers or open hostility to questions he disliked. There were reports of him walking out of interviews when questions displeased him. His strict professionalism sometimes came across as coldness to younger actors seeking mentorship. While respected for his work ethic and reliability, Bronson's stern demeanor and unwillingness to engage in the collaborative aspect of filmmaking left many colleagues feeling they never truly knew the man behind the tough guy image. Number 2. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood transformed from the man with no name in Sergio Leone's westerns to an acclaimed director of films like Unforgiven and $1 Million Baby, but his directorial style has raised eyebrows. Eastwood is famous for his one-take approach to filmmaking, rarely allowing actors multiple attempts to perfect a scene. While efficient, this method has frustrated performers who feel they weren't given adequate opportunity to explore their characters. His set rule of, if you're not early, you're late, creates pressure on the cast and crew. Eastwood is known for his dislike of extensive discussion about scenes or character motivations, preferring actors to arrive prepared and ready to work. His personal life has also generated controversy, particularly his relationship history and the multiple children he has fathered with different women. On political matters, Eastwood can be confrontational with those who disagree with his libertarian views. His infamous empty chair monologue at the 2012 Republican National Convention highlighted his willingness to go against conventional approaches. While many actors praise his efficiency and clarity, others find his minimalist communication style and rigid expectations challenging. Number 1. Bert Reynolds. Bert Reynolds may have ruled the box office in the 1970s, but behind the scenes, he was a walking headache. Known for his charm one minute and sharp tongue the next, he often trashed his films before they even hit theaters, infuriating studios. He clashed with big names like Marlon Brando and Clint Eastwood, missed shoot days with questionable excuses, and had messy public breakups with co-stars. Even when Boogie Nights gave him a comeback, he fought so hard with the director that he fired his agent over it. In the end, his bad attitude burned too many bridges and dimmed a career that could have soared even higher. So now you know some of the biggest action stars weren't just playing jerks on screen, they were jerks behind the scenes too. Shocking, right? But here's the thing. Hollywood has a long history of hiding bad behavior behind box office hits. Which of these stars surprised you the most? Or did we miss someone even worse? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you love the truth behind the fame, and don't forget to subscribe, because the real stories only get wilder from here.